there, good morning. Yeah, she runs a nonprofit in honor of her mother and spends her days dedicated to helping former and current foster kids gain access to their own identities.
If I had known that it was going to be that hard to get my birth certificate, I would have probably kept more track of it when I was younger, but I did not know.
Michael Mims spent the later part of his childhood in foster care. Once he aged out of the system, he realized he had never had his original birth certificate.
The struggle with that is that they don't tell you you have to keep up with that stuff. They just assume that you would know. So like if you're 13 years old, you don't know that.
Mims says he vaguely remembers a copy of his birth certificate, but it disappeared, saying it would have been incredibly hard to keep up with as he moved from home to home anyway.
The whole suitcase trash bag thing, like when you switch group homes, they put your stuff in a black trash bag, and you go to the next group home. That's just exactly how it is. And so through that, anything can get lost.
After high school, Mims says he was on his own and struggled to find a job without an ID. Although he was raised in LA, he was born in Illinois and didn't even know which county, so he didn't know how to begin getting his birth certificate. He tells me he only found work under the table after begging employers over and over with the same speech.
I'm an American citizen, but I don't have no identification. Please help me out. I got a social security card though, but I don't have identification. I can see how like some foster youth become homeless off of that because it's struggle because you got to think now you got to pay bills.
Eventually, a social worker introduced him to the team at Living Advantage. Pamela Clay says she is dedicated to helping foster youth have a better quality of life.
We found the common denominator of most of their issues, especially when they age out of the system, it was not having access to their identity.
Clay and her team got right to work on Mims's birth certificate. They were able to get it to him in less than 3 months. Clay says she's had 30-year-olds come to her still needing access to their own identification.
They needed to know who they were, their history.
In order to cut down on adults needing this help, Pamela and her team created the e-lockbox for children in the system. It's an internet program that keeps digital copies of a foster child's information, birth certificates, social security cards, former addresses, even shot records.
They've had immunization shots over and over and over. If you can't prove your immunization, right, then the next school you go to, you have to get it done again. So that's how the e-lockbox came about.
Clay says you can't expect a young child to keep up with these things, but they deserve access to their own identity. It sure changed Michael Mims' life.
I was actually happy to be in the DMV. Other people, they're all mad, cranky about being in the DMV. I was actually happy because I was like, I don't mind waiting these 2 hours because I'm going to finally have an ID. So that was very important to me.
Can you imagine? That kind of gives you an idea of the power. He was happy to be at the DMV. The e-lockbox is provided completely free to children through donations. So if you want to donate, you can just go to livingadvantageinc.org. Something you don't even think about.
That's actually what I was sitting here thinking about is you just shed light in hearing his voice. Stuff that the average person you wouldn't even consider.
Yeah. And you know, I've seen those programs where you donate old luggage to foster kids, to foster programs, so kids don't have to use garbage bags. But even knowing that, it wouldn't have even crossed my mind to think, how do kids keep up with their birth certificates and social security cards? Because a lot of adults, you know where their social security card is? Under their mama's mattress.
Right.
Still. Seriously, you know what I mean?
You for real, though?
Yeah.
I mean, mine is not. I actually have mine.
But did you have to beg her for it?
But I had to ask for it. This is years ago. But actually, my mom, I remember like when I was going to college, she was like, you need to have, you know, these things, and she gave it to me. But I think you're right. A lot of people out there watching this morning, get reminded from Brooke, check in and see where your social security card is if you don't know where it is. But these stories are so good, and I think you've been doing a lot of these, and these Living Connected segments. What's been your big takeaway from all these stories? Just
that, you know, we are better than you think. These past 3 years, I think there's been so much attention paid to how selfish we can be. You know, it's been rough, but we are just better than you think.
Yeah.
We are.
And
the kids are the best of us. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And then two, we really are just our best when we're helping each other.
Yeah. Amen to that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your reporting for us always.